Okay, welcome back to another episode of Dream Team. This week we've got Scott Silver with us. Scott's a long-serving member of the club, now a committee member, and was long part of Echo before the two clubs merged in 2010. So, evening, Scott.
Hi, how you doing?
Not bad, not bad. So, just a quick bit about you. When was your first game of adult cricket?
It was. I remember I was about 8 years old, and it was fielding fine leg to fine leg. I think for a club in Kent at the time called Wilmington. My dad was born in Kent and he sort of grew up playing for this club a lot, and he got back into it. I think he just randomly went and visited the club one year, and we just got back into it that way. So I remember fielding fine leg to fine leg the whole game, just with these massive baggy clothes. So I think that was my first one.
The first one for Echo?
First one for Echo, I was about 13, I think, and it was a Sunday game over at where was it? Towards Rayleigh, I think. It might have been at Rayleigh. It seems so long ago now. But yeah, I think my first proper game of cricket was in Eastwood, and that was for Echo Monarchs and Trojans, I think. No, that was for Trojans at the time. Trojans just tried to get a young youth team together, and I played from them. I wore white tracky bottoms as my trousers.
Nice.
Yeah, class.
Nice. Okay, so getting onto your team. So you've picked not just the best players you've played with, you just picked the influences, people you've enjoyed playing with, people who've been big parts of your careers.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think I've had the benefit of, being an average cricketer, which means that I've not just played at top level. I've been able to play with quite a very varied few people, which has been good. And I think especially starting young, you do, cricket's like this game where you can play with people 3 or 4 times your age. It's not many sports gives you that opportunity to do that.
No, certainly find out from a coaching perspective now that you can, on the job, train people. You captain the likes of the side we had this summer, and you're actually out there with them rather than on the sidelines. It makes a big difference and good element to it. Okay.
Yeah.
So your first opener.
First opener, number 1, Darren Wynne. Could be a controversial one for some people, but I think growing up, I played with him so many years, and he was just so destructive as a batsman when he was in the flow. He just took bowlers apart, and he would always attack from the very first ball. I can't remember how many games I played where the first ball was either like a 4 or a 6 back over the bowler's head. He would just always play the same way. Wore his heart on his sleeve, and I think he was good because he kind of introduced that a bit of aggression into cricket, and trying to attack bowlers for me personally, which is always good. And when I got to about 17, 18, when I started opening batting and I was opening with him, it was great to watch because he took the pressure off me as a batsman, because I could just go out and play cricket where he was there, hitting the bowlers all around the park. So it was great. Really good. So yeah, he was my number 1 on there.
As you say, slightly combative.
Yeah, definitely. There was definitely some games, I think, he definitely probably crossed the edge of being competitive to aggressive. But, I think even off the field for me, off the field, he was a completely different character for me personally, especially growing up. He was just part of my club cricket from the ages of, about 12 to 18, 19 years old. He was just always there, always having a beer in the bar at the end of the night. And it was a big part of my cricket, my summer cricket, basically.
Oh, good stuff. And who's going to open with Darren?
Darren, now I fiddled around with this one. It was Chris Mayer. I put him number 2, number 3. But Chris, again, part of that sort of Echo Monarchs cohort. And he was a big part because it was Sunday cricket, especially because he was the captain of the Sunday side pretty much all throughout my sort of teenage years, and there were so many good games of cricket. and it was always such fun, but it was always competitive. So we always played our best, but it was just always such a laugh. And I think, you know, even for me at that time, Chris is, I can't think how many years older Chris is. He's not much older than me, but even he sort of grew as a cricketer. You could see it, how he went from just sort of being this regular bowler to all of a sudden this sort of reliable, consistent batsman, you know, and he sort of changed the way he played and things. So yeah, Chris Mayer's there for number 2.
Chris is another player, as you say, about Darren, completely different opposites on and off the field. Chris, very quiet off the field. On the field, would get into an argument in a phone box.
Yeah, many are. I mean, and I would say especially against Eastwood Cricket Club, it seemed like Eastwood Cricket Club was always a team he would just get into an argument about something.
I think sometimes with Chris, he'd almost get himself into an argument to fire himself up, to get himself going with the bat or the ball. And it certainly worked for him. Yeah. Good cricketer. Very good cricketer. Okay, moving on to 3.
Number 3, so we're talking about opposites on and off the field. This one's just the same on and off it. Probably the quietest cricketer in the whole of Essex, Joe Sibbons. And obviously Joe's younger than me, so I've seen him from youth all the way up to adult cricket now. And he's incredible to watch at the moment. I think, especially for the last sort of few seasons, he's been a big highlight for Southend Cricket Club. You know, he's been a big positive. His performances have kept us in a lot of games. They've also given ourselves some dignity back, I think, over the last couple of years where we have struggled. You know, and just a really friendly guy, very quiet. But, you know, lets his cricket do the talking, I guess.
So it always looks unflustered, Joe, but never says anything, so you wouldn't know any difference.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. I think there was like a game against Westcliff last year, and he took this amazing catch in the field. It was like sort of diving to his right, and he took it with both hands. And the umpire was like, "Oh, really, really well done." I was sort of standing next to a square leg, and Joe just sort of walked off. And the guy went, "He's a bit rude, isn't he?" just I was like, "Oh, he just doesn't talk much, you know. He's fine. He's happy."
So when you were growing up, so you're talking about Sibbo and people like Glenn Norfolk, Sean Grant, maybe looked up to the likes of you when you were coming through, when they came through youth.
Maybe.
Who were the ones you looked up to when you were their age, 17, 18?
There's a couple on the list actually further down that definitely I looked up to. Chris is definitely one of those because he was just. I think the way he played the cricket was always such fun. Like he enjoyed playing cricket, and that really came out in those Sunday games because they were always really competitive. But you know, we just loved playing it. We just couldn't get enough of it. We were always trained. We were always at nets. We played in the week. You know, we just played it whenever we could. So Chris was definitely up there for that. I would say Mark Irvine, actually, who we come on to later, is again another one. You know, and I played with his boys Aaron and Sam. At similar levels. You know, there was just a few people that helped that, and I think I came from where it was Trojans previously, where I guess you could say that was originally where I was from. There was no youth cricket, so I didn't play along with kids at Trojans at the time that were similar ages to me at the time. So I went and played my youth cricket for Lee. And that was only for a couple of years I did that. And then Echo Monarchs and Trojans sort of joined together. Again, I was the oldest out of everyone, all the other youngsters. So again, there wasn't a team for me specifically that I could go and join. But by then, adult cricket, there was sort of enough teams. Yeah, enough teams that I could sort of slot into.
I think you find now with a lot of youth, but when they start playing adult cricket, they're not really bothered about the youth games. Once they get into men's cricket, adult cricket, that takes over. They get more of a buzz, I think, from that than playing an under 13s, under 15s, midweek game.
I think it's definitely, if you're a bowler taking your first adult wicket, and if you're a batsman is hitting your first 4, it's definitely like, oh, actually I can play at that level. And I think that's what Trojans did for me, was when Brian Saggers, actually, I remember now, was the the first adult game I think I played, and he was the first one like sort of I bowled and. You know, I don't know where we played, and we probably lost every game. I don't really remember the results, but I remember taking my first wicket. You know, and that was down to people like that who were willing to turn up and let youth have a go at stuff.
Ah, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, moving on to 4.
For Steve Hunt,
Yeah.
I mean, Steve was one of the best cricketers I think I've played with such natural ability, I should say, and I think. He, again, just played with such freedom. In most games he plays with such freedom. Sometimes more of a hindrance to his game than a positive, but, you know, definitely just part of that group with Chris and things like that, where it was just always such a good game of cricket, you know, and he has such good ability. It's just, he definitely probably could have gone a lot further than he has done with his cricket, but, yeah.
It is what it is, yeah. As you say, very, very talented. Good hands, good bowler.
Yeah.
Just with the bat, someday you just want to get to 20 and then kick on, and then he'll play not the best shot.
Yeah.
Drive people mad watching.
But it's just one of those. He's one of those types of players. You know, he's got that ability to do things, and he's willing to try it. You know, he has that confidence to do that, which I've definitely never had that in my game at all. So, you know, and that's the thing. I think, like, for the young people at that time, you know, again, he's a few years older than me, but, you know, playing with him on those Sunday games, it was always great fun because he just had that ability to play some outrageous shots. It was great.
Also, to be fair to Steve, last couple of years, he could easily have disappeared a little bit when it's not been the easiest for the first team, the teams he's been in. He's always stuck up, always fronted up and played. Can't knock him. He's been a good clubman, Steve, and hope he will remain so. So, okay, on to 5.
We'll skip over this one quite quickly. So it's yourself,
and I
think
fair point. Don't blame you.
Mr. Consistent, I guess, right? Bat for the average, keep it going, keep it ticking away. But I think, you know, you think a few years ago when Chris Hunt was captain in that third team, and we had a really good side, and we just kind of lost it towards the end of the season to miss out on that promotion, which kind of then came as a benefit, obviously with losing so many players. But, you know, I think you just were able to keep it going basically and keep those runs ticking over, and, you know, you can always sort of turn to rely on yourself in difficult situations to keep that ball ticking. So
thank you.
And
nice. Move on. X in the post. Number 6.
Mr. Sohail Ijaz. Again, I think he's just one of those consistent, reliable players. In the third and fourth team, you know, he very good, tidy bowler, bowls pretty much consistent line and length. Batting, you know, you could rely on him to pull you out of difficult situations. You could rely on him to up the run rate. Just a great player to have in the team, you know. And I think he just has that calming presence that sometimes, you know, teams lose when things aren't going right. He's just very calm. So he was in there for my number 6.
Yeah, good cricketing family. His boys are coming through.
Yeah,
as you say, that very calm presence. Perhaps sometimes a little bit too calm. Waiting for him at 25 past 12.
Yeah,
and he's got 3 others in his car with him. But yeah, very good player. As you say, good bowler.
Very good bowler. Yeah.
Okay, 7. I think we've already mentioned.
Yeah. So Mark Irvine, fantastic cricketer, great bowler, good batsman, good fielder. You know, all round, he was just solid performances. And I think when I was 18 and I'm sure he was second team captain then. This was for Economics and Trojans. You know, a bit like Darren Wynne, you know, had that really good competitive edge to him. And, you know, I think at that age when I was 18, when I was finally realising that, you know, what kind of cricket I could play myself against teams, you know, that he helped that because I added that bit of aggressiveness to my batting, which I probably hadn't had years previously. And there were a handful of games that I can remember where, you know, people took people took some great catches. I took some good catches, and it was just the way we celebrated, and the way we were together, and the way we played. We just played good, aggressive cricket, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun that year. I think it was the only year that I've ever won a batting trophy for the most runs. I think since then it all went downhill. But it was a good year of cricket.
Mark was sharper as a bowler than people probably give him credit for.
Yes.
When we merged, he was playing in the threes or the fours
Yeah.
at the time. And I called him up for a second team game. I was quite surprised, pleasantly. I was like, quite sharp.
Yeah, because he sort of, he did steam in, and he threw it down, but it was always because he was because obviously he had that, short, frame to him. It would skid through as well. But again, could hit that seam on that ball, and I kept wicket against him quite a number of times. Yeah, just a really good bowler, really good bowler, and just always played, with the heart on the sleeve, that aggressiveness.
Yeah,
it was good.
Handy middle order batsman as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I put him there, number 7, because he would come in, either runs were on the board or we needed runs, and either way he would add to it.
Great stuff. So he was one of your people you looked up to growing up. Cricketing wise, who were your heroes when you were growing up from the professional game? Test cricketers? Who are the ones you really looked up to, wanted to be?
Well, that's the thing, because actually, I didn't really follow any kind of international cricket. I think the first time that international cricket really sort of got to me was the 2005 Ashes.
Yeah.
And it was that was the series that really sort of grabbed my attention. Flintoff was always really fun to watch during that period. But to be honest, there was no one that really stood out. It was just more about what cricket was and how, and the excitement of it, which when you talk to people who don't understand cricket, they don't understand actually where that excitement can come from and where that enjoyment comes from. It's really hard to explain to them. But I think watching that test series, it grabs a lot of people's attention who previously probably wouldn't have watched cricket.
That's fair. As you say about people who don't understand cricket, they don't understand how you can play from 12:30 till 7 o'clock, and at 6:58 something happens and you just go mad with celebration because you've got a catch to win the game or something. It's all gone to the last ball.
And that's the thing. I think you look at a cricket team and you're like, can I spend an afternoon with these 11 people?
Yeah.
I think that's especially for my where I'm at with my cricket now, it's definitely the case. Can I spend 7 hours standing in a field, throwing a ball to each other now and then?
I think
that's what it's about.
But you enjoy playing with. Yeah. Definitely. Okay, so moving on to 8.
So this one's my dad. So, I would not have got into cricket if it wasn't for him. When I was 6, 7, 8 years old, I would be going to cricket every Saturday with him, and just, watching a bit, kicking a football about with some other kids that might have been there, and just, that was kind of always my Saturdays growing up. And then, I was lucky enough to be able to play with him for a number of years. Especially when I kept wicket, it was a lot of bowled silver, caught silver. So that was always quite fun to see, because he was a decent bowler, my dad, and could hold a bat. He'll probably be pleased. He'll probably have a go at me that I've put him number 8, but he's not here, so that's fine.
What as a bowler was he? Seamer, spinner?
Seam bowler, yeah, seam bowler. So when he was younger, he said to me that he was a spin bowler, off spin, and he played a little bit of county cricket, for the youth sides, but he sort of reinvented himself somehow as a sort of seam bowler, but he could swing the ball, and pretty much in any kind of condition he was a decent bowler and good fielder, had a great pair of hands.
Not often you see people who go from spin to seam. Most of the time it's seam bowlers who struggling a little bit turn to spin bowling. So it's good.
It was always, I think how many games we played over at the Garrison as well, where, he just didn't go for many runs at all, to be honest. He just was always a bit like, Sir Hale, just bowled that good line and length and didn't look to move away from those spots.
Yeah. Stick in there and make them do the work.
And had the ability to do it as well, I should probably say.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's an underrated skill. It doesn't come from luck.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 9.
Nicest man in cricket, Mr. Roy Anderson.
Yeah.
Lovely bloke. And I think Roy, again, is one of those bowlers, was probably at the time a bit quicker than my dad, but was just consistent. And again, always hunted those line and length areas outside the off stump and just bowled constantly. He was such a great bowler to watch. And I think, you know, a bit like Sir Hale, was calming, have a calming presence.
Yeah.
But, if he got annoyed about something, it was great to watch him flare up and get a bit angry because it was so unlike him. And he would not do it all the time, but there would be the odd game where maybe a catch, but like caught behind wasn't given, that he would lose it a little bit. But, you know, and I've put him number 9 because he can bat, and the person below him is going to be really annoyed that he's below him. So,
yeah, person below is 1 too high, I'd say. But going back to Roy was quite tall, wasn't he? Quite a tall bloke.
Very tall. Yeah,
so
very tall.
Got a little bit of bounce from a good length, and as you say, just did enough with the ball.
Yeah, and I think like he was a twos. So I played him when he was a twos captain in like Div 4 of T Ripon, I think it was. And at the time, it was like a 5-year, 6-year time period where I was playing cricket on a Saturday, but I was having to leave about 5:30, 6 o'clock every Saturday for work. So I worked in a bar and a restaurant at the time. And, you know, I always got a full game. At that point, I bowled as well and always take a few wickets. I would always be in the areas where I would take catches, and I would, you know, bat, and I would always get runs. And, you know, it was just good cricket. And at the time, I think Darren Wynne and Mark were still playing in those sort of sides and stuff. So it was just, he's just part of that sort of cohort or group where, you know, I kind of learnt my trade as a cricketer, really, and how I go about my game.
Yeah, as you say, very, very good man, Roy. Very good, very good. Captain a couple of years after the merge, I think, didn't he? So, good stuff.
just reliable, just a really nice, really friendly guy. You know, I think the very first time I met him was just, even my dad introduced him as the nicest man in cricket, and that's what I've always called him since then.
No, very fair. Okay, number 10.
10, like you said, probably 1 too high, but I would generally have him a little bit higher than 10. I would probably put him in 8 or 9, and that's Chris Hunt. You know, great bowler. You know, still has the ability to sort of, you know, get it in fairly quick at a decent pace. Sometimes he tries to bowl too quick and gets hit out the park very early on. But otherwise, you know, I think competitive cricketer, always looks to his best, and just, you know, he puts his heart and soul into absolutely everything he does. And that includes, you know, what he does for the club, what he does for the sides, trying to get things organised. You know, he's just a great guy to have in any club.
Yeah, as you say, good bowler. Can bat.
Can definitely bat.
Hits
can
a
definitely
good ball.
Bat.
Can't
he
run.
He does hit. Yeah, he's got a great eye. Like, can hit any ball.
Yeah. No, it's it, as you say, a few mad ideas in the field that he comes up with, but just say
generally, down to his analytical brain. I think he overthinks everything. But, you know, as a bowler, I think especially when it was Ecomox and Trojans, he was quick. He had a good bit of speed behind him.
No, very, very underrated bowler at times. Okay, 11.
So this is obviously probably the second or third one in this side that's you know, post merge now, which is Nigel Green. Just the most reliable bowler that I think I've ever played with. It just, you know, I think, you know, you bring him on when the openers are having a difficult sort of opening spell, and, you know, batsmen are getting on top, you bring him on, and I think there's maybe a handful of games that I can remember where he hasn't made that breakthrough, or he hasn't settled a run rate down. You know what you're going to get from him. He knows what he's going to bowl. He knows where he wants to put his field, and, you know, his traps often work. You know, he's just one of those really, again, calming figures. Knows what he's bowling. Knows where to put all the fielders, even if he's not bowling. You know, he does. It's just a really good guy to have in the team, I think.
So, as you say, a captain's dream in a way that you just almost let him do what you want.
Yeah,
you can set your own. You can let him set his own field. You might offer a bit of an advice, but as captain, you just sort of say, over to you, Nige. He sorts his field and generally bowls to it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I think that's the thing. It's backing up with what you're talking. And I think, you know, he does that. And I think for the last, you know, number of years that I've been playing with him, you do just rely on him. You're almost begging the captain to bring him on sometimes because you just want to slow run rates down or just make a breakthrough, and he can often bring that for you.
I said this like the last couple of years we've been bringing a lot of youth through, a lot of young bowlers. It's great because you put Nigel on, he'll go for 2 or 3 and over at one end.
Yeah.
If someone at the other end goes at 5s, as a team, you're not struggling as much. He just gives he gives the kids the platform that if it doesn't quite work for them.
No, but I think because he's got that knowledge and experience as well, he's happy to help support the youth, and that's really important. I think, especially the way our club is at the moment, we're looking to those youth to support our teams and to make immediate impacts to whatever side they're playing, and they're not there to learn the trade, they're there to help us win games. So I think having someone like Nigel in that team just helps, because he's just got that ability to talk to the children about and the youth, and to help them along.
No, that's a pretty good 1 to 11 you've picked there. Happy with it? I think you've got all bases covered, as you say.
I think so. I think you can look at it at different perspectives. I think you could have probably 7, 8, 9 different people in there for different reasons, and I think I'm happy with what I've selected. If I think about my career as a very amateur club cricketer, I think that's who I've enjoyed playing with the most, where I've seen my best cricket, and probably the people I would turn to now.
As you say, you can always pick other people. There may be better cricketers out there, but this is your forum. This is your team.
Yeah, I won't have it any other way. This is it. Nailed on.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, it's good. Well, Scott, it's been brilliant to speak to you. Thank you very much for
your
time. Thank you very much. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.